Welcome, gentle listener, to Sleepy Facts. Here knowledge loosens its laces and lies down beside your breath. Let the day soften at the edges as your shoulders settle, your jaw releases, and the mind grows wide and slow. This is your calm corner of the night, where science is a melody and meaning is the hush between notes. Inhale like a tide arriving. Exhale like a tide returning. Feel the room lean towards stillness, the way dusk leans towards stars, and stars lean toward silence. Beyond the hum of clocks and screens, something older waits, a soft thread that stitches moments together, tender and invisible. We follow it now, not with hurry, but with listening, the way one listens for a distant bell into the quiet story of time. Time moves through us like a slow current, and yet it wears many faces. Sometimes it is a river with sun on its back, sometimes a fog that blurs the shoreline. In a waiting room, 5 minutes stretch until they creak. In laughter, an hour folds small and light like a napkin in a pocket. Clocks never change their step, but our attention does. And where attention rests, time gathers or thins accordingly. The mind keeps an inner metronome, a private drummer, but he is playful, responsive, easily persuaded by novelty, emotion, and the nearness of wonder. In boredom, he taps every beat. In fascination, he puts the sticks down and listens with us, and the song vanishes into itself. Long before numbers counted our days, the sky did. Shadows slipped around pillars of stone, and the sun taught the ground to tell the hour. Moons thinned to slivers and swelled to lanterns. Seasons breathed in long phrases. Fields learned to trust a calendar written by light. Water once kept the pace bowls whispering into bowls, steady as a heartbeat in sleep. Later gears learned the grammar of waiting. Pendulums traced perfect arcs as if blessing the air. Quartz sang in invisible vibrations, and deep in silent rooms, atoms began to hum with a precision almost holy. We built these instruments because rhythm comforts us, a way to comb a pattern through the tangled wool of living tick and tock, like footfalls down a hallway, reminding us there is order, there is sequence, there is a path. But under the sound of tools and terms, under calendars and schedules, and the firm rectangles of planners, time remains intimate. It lives behind the ribs, in the warm swing of body temperature, from dawn to dusk, in the soft rise of melatonin as evening quiets the window. The brain keeps a master candle, the little lighthouse near the crossing of the optic nerves. It brightens at morning and dims toward night, sending signals that open the door for sleep and close it for waking. Cells listen, organs listen. Even the skin listens, a sea that knows the tide by light alone. When the day's glare lingers too late on our screens, the lighthouse mistakes midnight for noon, and we drift off course, a ship gently turning in a current we cannot see. Attention is an awe and memory the wake it leaves. When novelty litters the path, the mind takes more pictures. Later, that abundance looks like length summer in childhood, elastic and endless, because every minute wore a new face. As routines smooth the years, the mind saves its ink and notes only the headlines. The weeks, once starry with detail, compress into a simple line. It is not that time runs faster. It is that we write less of it down inside. Joy hastens the feel of an hour. Fear slows it into frames. In danger, memory packs tightly, building a slow-motion reel we will call the long second, though the second never grew only our record of it. Imagine the patient evolution of our instruments, while this inner theatre kept its play. A sunbeam leans across an obelisk. A shadow crawls a farmer, pockets his decision to water now. A monk hears bells. The hour gathers the faithful. Prayers thread the day with measured breath. A carpenter, steady and stubborn, teaches the sea to trust a clock. Ships learn their longitudes. Voyagers fasten their paths to a time kept dry within brass and care. In secret laboratories, crystals hum, and then atoms declare the syllables of a second with an authority no bell could ever claim. Satellites listen. The world synchronizes. Our maps become faithful to our feet. And still the same curious thing persists. Even as we hold time more tightly, it flows through the hand in the selfsame way. We speak of time as if it were money we spend save waste. We run out, we buy ourselves a little more. The phrases make sense because we want time to behave like a coin, secure and countable, the same for everyone. But the universe carries a softer grammar. One thinker pictured time as a universal river, clear and impartial, flowing equally for all minds and all stones. It matched the feeling of a pendulum's perfect swing, the confidence of an equation used and used again. Then another listened closer and heard elasticity in the song. A bend here, a stretch there, seconds that relax near mountains, minutes that lean differently for fast travelers than for those who stand still. The map of space, it turned out, is stitched to the map of time. Pull one thread and the other rearranges its embroidery. Clocks disagree by a hair at a mountaintop and a valley floor. In orbit, they drift again, and our instruments quietly correct themselves so your phone can find your feet. We ask whether time has a direction, whether the river truly flows, or whether it is our eyes that prefer forward as the page. In the kitchen, an egg breaks. In the fireplace, wood softens into light and ash. On a desk, clutter ascends naturally toward abundance. We call this drift into messiness entropy, not as scold or sorrow, but as a tendency the world observes the way a child tends toward laughter when freed to run. From a neat beginning, everything spreads and mingles. Order thins to a mild and generous disorder. The story becomes harder to tell backward. The arrow points. We feel its insistence in memory, which leaves footprints only behind us, never ahead. And yet, there are places where the idea of before and after grows quiet. At the smallest scales, the math speaks without caring which way the film rolls. Particles do not ask what time is. They respond to relationships, to amplitudes, to a bookkeeping of possibility. Some whispers even suggest that when we try to write a whole universe equation, the symbol for time declines to appear as if the cosmos were a quilt of nows, each square complete and still, and our consciousness, the hand that moves from square to square, feeling the seams as motion. Perhaps time is not the river, but the sensation of wetness when we slip our hand in. Not the frames, but the illusion of movement when we string them close one after another and blink. Even if the deepest fabric is quiet about time, life is not. Plants rise to the day before the day arrives. Leaves uncurl just ahead of light, as if remembering the sun from inside their green. Bees, birds, fungi, each keeps a calendar without pages tuned to dawns and dusks, to warmth and wind. We too are orchestras of clocks, the master candle in the brain, the smaller candles in liver and gut, in muscle and skin, the percussive chemistry of hormones, the tide-like breathing of temperature. Shift the light and the meals, move the body across the seam of time zones. The ensemble will tune itself again slowly with a few wrong notes during the overture. This is why, a night of screens becomes a morning of fog. Why a sunrise on the face can be a gentle hand setting the pendulum right again. There are other ways we play with the feeling of hours. Anticipation stretches time thin as glass. Dread pulls it into a wire we can pluck and hear. Meditation, with its simple mercy attention resting on breath, dissolves the measuring mind. Seconds unhook from numbers and return to sensation. In flow, we are braided to the task. The clock goes shy and stands in the corner. Afterward, the day seems smaller and cleaner, as if a window were opened and then quietly closed. In stillness, we discover that time is often the noise we make against change, and when the noise quiets, change remains but gentler. It is easy to think we live inside time, but sometimes it feels that time lives inside us, using our experiences as the loom for its thread. We are the story it tells to itself in the first person. I remember, I expect, I am here. Because of this, our words for time are also our words for being alive. We arrive, we wait, we begin, we let go. We relearn as the years turn that beginnings and endings are just edges we drew around a lake that has no edge, only light playing on the water. The more precise our instruments become, the more we uncover the intimacy of our own clocks. It is comforting to know that somewhere in a vault of quiet machinery, a second is defined by an atom's steady syllable. It is also comforting to know that somewhere nearer, perhaps at the bottom of your ribs, a slower second is defined by your breath. You can listen to one and feel the other, and in the spacing between them, a life unfolds. We are not late here, we are not early. We are exactly in the middle of this moment, which is always where we are. If the cosmos writes time in curves and probability, if heat pens its arrow and gravity inks its margins, then perhaps our role is simply to read gently. To remember that every system longs for rhythm, migrating geese ocean tides, sleeping cities a human heart. To admit that rhythm is not a cage, but a kindness, a frame that lets the picture rest a meter that carries the poem. We will return to the sky makers of time, to the arguments and the elegant compromises, to the bending of seconds near heavy things, to the thought that time could be a landscape rather than a road. But for now, here in this room with its familiar furniture of shadows, we honor the simplest measure, one inhale, one exhale, like oars. There is more to wander the ancient neatness from which disorder blossomed. The traveling twins and their uneven birthdays, the way a mountain asks a clock to soften its pace, the possibility that time is not a flow but a field, and we are walking it in a pattern we call now. We will go there, slowly, without hurry, listening as if for rain on a far roof, until the roof becomes the sky, and the sky becomes the page, and the page becomes the... And so, the night drifts onward, and so, the night drifts onward. The story of time deepens, not forward, not backward, but inward. It moves the way light travels through fog, patient, unhurried, full of quiet shapes. Each idea rises like mist, one dissolving into another. And in that soft blur, we begin to see how the universe keeps its rhythm. Isaac Newton once imagined time as a river, flowing evenly indifferent to the world it crossed. It did not bend for stars or hearts or history. It simply went perfectly constant, carrying the cosmos upon its back. To him, this made sense. The apple falls today as it would tomorrow. The moon circles with clock-like grace. And in this vast consistency, the mind could find comfort. Time in Newton's universe was the stage on which everything happened, silent, unchanging, eternal. The actors moved, but the stage remained. For centuries, this picture held steady, ticking neatly with the pendulums he helped inspire. Factories' rose train whistles echoed across the mist of industrial mornings, and time became something measured, divided, synchronized. Schedules grew from it, cities pulsed to it, and the human heartbeat found itself shaped by its rhythm. We trusted it, almost worshipped it, the invisible pulse of progress, of order, of modernity itself. Yet, even as clocks grew precise, the world itself whispered otherwise. Because when scientists looked closer, time began to tremble. They noticed that light, that pure, unwavering messenger, did not behave as expected. No matter how fast you ran toward it, no matter how you fled, it always sped away at the same pace. And this quiet impossibility cracked the old foundation. Then came a dreamer with uncombed hair and a calm curiosity, Albert Einstein, a man who looked at the still river of Newton's time and saw instead a living fabric. Not a stage, but a sea that flexed and folded under weight and motion. He called this new idea relativity, and in its light time ceased to be absolute. Imagine two clocks, one resting on Earth, another soaring through the stars. In Newton's world, their ticking would match. In Einstein's, the airborne clock lags behind, its seconds stretched thin by speed. Time itself slows for the traveler. Their heartbeat lengthens. Their hair grays a little less. It's not illusion, it's woven into the mathematics of reality. And though the difference is small, it is real, proven by atomic clocks flown on planes orbiting satellites, correcting their drift each day so that your maps stay faithful to your street. This is time dilation, a phrase both clinical and poetic. The faster you move, the slower time moves for you. It bends, not because the universe misbehaves, but because it is more flexible, more tender than we once believed. And when gravity enters, the bending deepens. A mountain pulls a clock closer to its heart, and that clock ticks slower than one resting at sea. Even the gentle pull of Earth stretches seconds like soft thread. Time, then, is not one thing, but many a landscape where valleys and hills are carved not by rivers, but by mass and speed. Stand near a black hole where gravity holds light in its arms, and time itself nearly stops. Look from afar, and it seems frozen eternal, a whisper held too long in breath. This isn't science fiction. It's the patient truth written in the equations that guide the stars. Every second you live is already bending under the weight of where you are and how you move. Your head, perched higher than your feet, ages infinitesimally faster. Your dreams, floating lighter than your waking body, perhaps stretch their own seconds in secret. And yet, in your daily life, these differences vanish beneath the steady illusion of sameness. We live inside time's embrace, but rarely feel its fingers shifting. Einstein's revelation didn't destroy Newton's clockwork, it softened it. The two coexist, like parent and child, one rigid and reliable, the other curious, flexible, full of wonder. In the quiet between their ideas lies something deeply human, our longing for certainty met by the universe's gentle refusal to grant it. And still, a question lingers like a low tone beneath the melody. If time can bend and slow and stretch, Why does it move only one way? Why does morning follow night and not the other way around? Why do we remember yesterday but never tomorrow? This is where physics meets poetry, and both bow to mystery. For though the fundamental laws of nature, the equations that govern light, motion, and matter, are symmetrical, indifferent to direction, the world we live in chooses an arrow. Glass shatters, but does not reassemble. Flames rise and vanish, never reverse into wood. Tea cools, but does not reheat itself in silence. There is a word for this one-way drift: entropy. Entropy is the universe's slow sigh, the measure of how things scatter, soften, and blend. A deck of cards shuffles, but never unshuffles. Order gives way to possibility. Patterns fade into mixture. It is not decay exactly, but diffusion, the spreading out of energy and arrangement until everything finds its balance. And in that balance, the arrow of time points forward. We live in that arrow's flight. Each heartbeat a small engine of entropy, each breath a transformation. Our memories form in the wake of this flow, because remembering means leaving traces, and traces are tiny signatures of disorder. The past exists because it's written down. The future does not because it's still blank. That is why we remember behind us and not ahead. Entropy does more than shape thermodynamics. It shapes meaning. It is the reason stories move forward, why music resolves instead of looping forever, why we grow older but not younger. It gives us narrative change consequence, all the things that make experience human. And though we often mourn its inevitability, it is also a kind of mercy. Without it, the world would be still frozen in perfect, lifeless order. At the birth of the universe, entropy was impossibly low, a smooth, quiet canvas waiting for paint. Over billions of years, that smoothness wrinkled into stars, galaxies, clouds of dust and color. Each wrinkle a step forward in the story of disorder, and thus of time. The arrow began there, stretching from the first light to this breath you take now. Every scattered atom, every faded footprint, every setting sun, all singing the same refrain onward. And yet, deep within the quiet equations of physics, there is no arrow at all. They work just as well backward as forward. It is only in the mess, the warmth, the unevenness of the real world that time finds its preference. Perhaps that is the secret: order gives meaning to law, but disorder gives meaning to life. There are more arrows, subtle but sure. The psychological arrow, the one that allows you to remember the kiss, but not the meeting to come. The causal arrow, where causes precede effects. Light follows the switch, and laughter answers the joke. The cosmological arrow, the one written across galaxies as the universe continues to expand, slowly stretching its own fabric thinner. And somewhere beneath them, all these arrows align, pointing toward a future that hums softly with increasing complexity, increasing story. But what if the arrow could bend? What if we could move against it, step backward into the earlier frames of the film? The mind loves this question. Science, too, cannot resist the thought experiment. The looping wormhole, the closed curve of space-time, the doorway through which one might meet their own shadow in reverse. Einstein's equations allow it in theory if the universe were folded just right. But practice is less kind. Wormholes, if they exist at all, collapse the moment they open. The forces that sustain them belong more to mathematics than to metal. And even if we could pass through one, paradox, would wait at the threshold like a guardian. Could you alter what has already been? Could you change the note after the symphony has ended? Perhaps not. Perhaps the universe is self-consistent, editing any contradiction before it begins. So time travel remains a lullaby for the mind, a beautiful impossibility that reveals our yearning not to escape time, but to understand it. We don't really want to rewrite the past. We want to make peace with its persistence, to know that the hours we've lost are not gone, but quietly resting in their own corners of the fabric already complete. And when we ask, does time truly exist? The question folds back on itself like paper. Because maybe time is not a river, nor a line, nor a dimension we move through, but a perception we create, a way to describe change, a rhythm by which we dance through impermanence. Perhaps only the present is real, each moment blooming and fading, a candle that lights the next before it goes out. Or perhaps all moments exist together, side by side, a boundless tapestry already woven, and we are the thread that travels across it, perceiving motion where there is only wholeness. In that view, time does not flow, it simply is. A landscape of events already written. The past still present, the future already formed, and we travelers of perception moving through its stillness. Every heartbeat, every memory, every quiet hope is not passing, only unfolding. And yet, even if time is illusion, we live beautifully inside it. We measure birthdays, we count sunsets, we save moments like photographs in the mind. We feel change and call it living. We feel loss and call it love. And whether time is real or not, it shapes the meaning of all things. We will keep following its thread from atoms to stars, from heartbeat to horizon, listening for the secret it keeps whispering in the silence between seconds. The dream doesn't end, it only deepens. The dream deepens softly, endlessly. The night opens wider, and time, that gentle illusion, spreads before us like a quiet sea. Every ripple is a memory, every glimmer a possible future. We float not forward or back, but within, suspended in the still rhythm of change itself. If the grand stage of physics speaks of time as geometry, a bending of fabric, a curvature of being, then the quiet theatre of the mind tells a different tale, one of feeling, of perception, of minutes that breathe differently depending on the heart that counts them. Here, time is not measured by motion, but by emotion. It does not move at all, it is stretched and shaped by consciousness. When joy takes us by the hand, hours become feathers. They lift light and effortless as if they could drift forever. A conversation with a friend, a laugh that lingers too long. Suddenly, it is night. The moon already risen, the day folded away without a sound. But when we wait, when we sit in a dull room where nothing stirs, time thickens. It gathers around us like fog, heavy and endless. The same seconds pass, but our awareness multiplies them, feeling each grain as it falls. Psychologists call this subjective time, but perhaps it is simply felt time. A river that narrows or widens depending on the landscape of attention. When we are engaged, we float. When we are idle, we wade. And when we are anxious, time becomes glass transparent, brittle, echoing every small sound inside us. Our brains are not perfect clocks. They are storytellers. They do not measure the seconds, they measure the meaning of seconds. When a day is filled with novelty, the mind records more frames, more detail, more story. Later, when we look back, it feels longer, because the memory is rich, crowded with color. That is why childhood feels endless. Every hour was something new. Every summer day stretched into eternity because it was dense with discovery, a million tiny moments, each shining separately. But as we grow, our paths become familiar. The brain, ever efficient, stops saving so many pictures. It compresses the film of our lives into shorter reels. Weeks, months, even years blur together. The highway of habit has fewer landmarks, and so time feels faster, not because it moves differently, but because we stop noticing its texture. Emotion, too, reshapes our inner clock. Fear stretches the instant it fills it with detail, with memory, with the body's frantic awareness. That is why, in danger, the world seems to slow, not because time bends, but because we record it in higher resolution. Joy does the opposite. It smooths everything, erases boundaries, leaving only the flow, the dance, the soft hum of belonging. And then there is the flow state, that rare, beautiful disappearance of time altogether. When the self dissolves into what it is doing, when creation and perception merge into one steady rhythm, the clock vanishes. Artists, athletes, dreamers, they know this feeling. It is not timelessness in the cosmic sense, but a suspension, a soft, forgetting a moment where being alive feels like breathing with the universe. In meditation, something similar happens. When you stop chasing seconds, they stop running away. When attention narrows to breath, to sound, to now the mind unhooks itself from the machinery of time. There is no before or after, only unfolding, only the presence that holds both. Children live here naturally. Ask a child how long 5 minutes is, and they may answer forever. To them, time is elastic, playful. They haven't yet learned the tyranny of clocks. Only later, when routines and schedules arrive, does time become linear, a corridor with numbered doors. But perhaps this corridor is of our own design. Perhaps time as we know it is the scaffolding we built to hold the weight of memory and anticipation. We need it to make sense of motion, to find cause and effect, to tell stories about where we came from and where we are going. Without it, life might still exist, but meaning might not. Some scientists whisper that time is emergent, not a law, but a consequence. That deep beneath all matter and energy, there is no ticking, no flow, no arrow. There is only relation, one state compared to another, one pattern changing into the next. Time in this way could be a mirage rising out of complexity, appearing only when consciousness learns to watch the waves and call them motion. And yet, this illusion is intimate. We feel it in our bones, in our blood. Our bodies are not separate from time, they are time-made flesh. Every cell ticks to its own rhythm, a symphony conducted by a hidden clock called the circadian rhythm, the cycle of about a day that governs our waking and our sleep, our hunger, our hormones, our very sense of being here. This rhythm is ancient, carved by the sun and shadow, by the first creatures who learned to rise with the dawn and rest with the dark. Even now, deep inside your brain, a small cluster of neurons keeps the beat, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a lighthouse guiding the tides of your body. It listens to the light in your eyes, sinks to the sunrise, and tells the rest of you when to begin, when to fade. At dusk, it releases melatonin, a chemical whisper that says, "Now soften, now sleep." At dawn, the light steals in and silences the signal, and the body stirs once more. Without this clock, we drift our days unmoored, our nights uneven. Artificial light, for all its gifts, confuses this inner metronome. Screens burn too long into midnight. The brain thinks the sun is still awake. Melatonin stays hidden. The night grows shallow. We wake tired because our rhythm, once tied to stars, now listens to pixels. But it can be restored: a morning walk, the soft blaze of dawn on the face, a slow return to the world's original tempo. The light, even now, still knows your name. Each of us carries a unique rhythm. Some rise easily bright as the morning itself, the larks. Others bloom in darkness, thinking clearer, dreaming deeper when the world sleeps, the owls. These tendencies are written partly in our genes, a quiet inheritance from ancient survival, some to guard the night, some to greet the sun. Even our temperature follows the rhythm: coolest in the early hours, warmest in the afternoon, as if our bodies too orbit the sun. Performance, mood, metabolism all dance to this invisible drumbeat, steady and sure. And when we cross the world, when metal wings carry us across time zones, our clocks fall out of step. Jet lag, that peculiar fog, is the feeling of the orchestra warming up again, each instrument tuning back to the sun. It takes days for the harmony to return. This inner clock exists not only in us. Plants close their leaves at dusk, even when kept in total darkness, proof that they remember light, even when it is gone. Flowers unfurl before sunrise, anticipating the warmth that hasn't yet come. Even in the forest's quiet depth, fungi release their spores in rhythm, breathing with the planet's invisible pulse. Time, then, is not just a concept, it is a living heartbeat. It hums through every root, every wing, every tide. It's the secret metronome beneath life's song. And though physics may call it relative, biology calls it home. Somewhere between the orbit of stars and the turning of leaves, between the spin of electrons and the sigh of dreams, there is harmony, the great synchrony of existence. And when you listen closely, you can hear it, the soundless pulse of everything. Alive, counting, breathing, becoming. Somewhere ahead, the silence widens, and we follow. The silence widens, and in its stillness, we drift deeper into the mystery of time, not as an idea, but as an experience that breathes through all living things. Each heartbeat, each slow inhale is a soft dialogue between body and cosmos, a whispering reminder that we are participants in something vast, ancient, and rhythmic. If the galaxies have their revolutions, so too does every cell within us. Molecules keep appointments. Hormones rise and fall like lunar tides. And deep in the bloodstream, a quiet order prevails, not enforced by clocks, but by light, chemistry, and memory. The earth spins, and our chemistry responds. The sun leans westward, and our eyelids grow heavy. Night is not merely absence of day, but an invitation, a returning inward, where consciousness folds itself neatly away and the body slips into its private orbit of rest. Even sleep follows phases, each one its own small continent of time. Dreams bloom and fade, carrying fragments of the day into the wordless country of the mind. Here the arrow of time curls softly. The past visits the present, the future shimmers like a ghost of possibility. For the dreaming brain, time loses its edges. It becomes circular, dissolving logic into feeling. Perhaps that is why dreams soothe us. They remind us that time can be kind, that not everything must move in straight lines. But beyond sleep, beyond biology, time takes on another voice, the mathematical infinite murmur of the universe itself. If Newton's time was steady and Einstein's time was flexible, then the quantum world makes time uncertain, as if the universe is improvising its own rhythm moment to moment. In the quantum realm, there is no definite now. Particles exist in maybes, in clouds of possibility, and the equations that describe them work just as well forward as backward. At this smallest scale, the universe doesn't seem to feel time at all. It only notices relationships, how one thing changes in comparison to another, how probability evolves, how waves of possibility merge and divide. The Schrödinger equation. The song of the quantum world uses time not as a participant, but as a backdrop, a silent metronome that never bends or ages. This is strange, because Einstein told us that time and space are intertwined, one fabric moving and folding together. But in quantum physics, time seems detached again, as though it steps back from the dance and watches. And so arises the great question of modern physics, the problem of time. When scientists try to merge quantum mechanics with relativity, something peculiar happens. Time disappears. It falls out of the equations entirely, like a character who walks off stage, but whose absence is suddenly the whole story. In some of these theories, like the Wheeler-DeWitt equation, the universe is described as timeless. No ticking, no flowing, no past, no future. Just a vast and eternal present, a cosmic now in which every possibility exists at once. This is difficult for the human mind to hold. We are creatures of sequence. We rely on the story of before and after to understand who we are. If everything exists simultaneously, then time may be less like a river and more like a painting. Each stroke already placed, each color already dried, and we, the observers, move our gaze across it, mistaking that movement for time itself. Some physicists think time is not fundamental, but emergent, a side effect of complexity, a rhythm that appears only when there are patterns to compare. An atom on its own knows no minutes, but a galaxy, a mind, a heartbeat. These create reference points. From relation, rhythm is born. From rhythm, time emerges. Others imagine time arising from entanglement, that eerie bond between particles that can remain linked even across the emptiness of space. As the universe grows more entangled, as relationships between its parts deepen and multiply, the arrow of time may arise not as something we move through, but as the spreading web of connectedness itself. There is another vision to the many worlds. In this view, every choice, every quantum twitch creates a new branch of reality, a new version of time, of you, of everything. Each path splits infinitely, like a tree blooming forever into the unknown. In one branch, you turned left instead of right. In another, you stayed home. In another, still you never wondered about time at all. In this forest of universes, time is not a single thread, but an entire grove. Each trunk, a timeline, each leaf a moment, and all of them rustling softly together in the wind of possibility. Strange as it sounds, this idea may not be as alien as it seems. We already live surrounded by choices. We did not take versions of ourselves. lingering in the imagination. In dreams, in regret, in memory, we visit them, if only for a heartbeat. Perhaps somewhere they visit us too. Still, even among such cosmic abstractions, time feels personal. When we touch another's hand, when we wait, when we love, we feel the pulse of time like a second heart. It is not the clock we notice, but the unfolding of experience. This too is science, the kind that cannot be written on a board, only felt. Because whether time flows or stands still, whether it is illusion or law, it gives structure to meaning. It is how we know that moments matter. It is how we learn that change is not the enemy. It is the language of existence. Some philosophers say that all moments already exist, the block universe, where the past, present, and future are equally real, woven into a single unchanging whole. If that is true, then time does not pass. We simply travel across it, our consciousness sliding along the fabric like light on a ribbon. Others say only the present exists, that the past is gone, the future unborn, and that life happens entirely within this fragile, vanishing instant. This is called presentism, and it feels closer to what our hearts know. Because when we breathe, when we notice, when we fall quiet, the present expands a moment so full it needs no next. Maybe both are true. Maybe we move through a timeless universe carrying the illusion of motion so we can feel alive within it. Time might be the universe's way of allowing everything not to happen all at once. A gentle constraint, a cosmic kindness. Even if it isn't real, it matters, as stories do, as dreams do, as love does. Because time, real or imagined, is how we find rhythm in the vastness. It is how we know where to rest, where to begin again. And now, as the night deepens further, you might feel time slowing, not as fatigue, but as a kind of surrender. Your breathing falls into its own orbit. The seconds no longer march, they drift. Each one arrives softly, like a feather on still water, and vanishes just as gently. We will keep floating further into the quiet, to where time becomes feeling, and feeling becomes the universe remembering itself. We keep floating further into the quiet. Time now feels less like a line and more like a tide, a slow inhale, a slow release. Every breath you take is a miniature universe expanding and contracting, a tiny echo of the cosmos that birthed all things. And as we drift deeper, the boundary between science and stillness begins to blur. Because when you listen long enough, you realize that time is not something out there, not an external river pulling you along. It is something within you. You are the river. You are the current that carries memory forward, the witness that turns change into meaning. Every cell in your body keeps a rhythm. Your heart, that quiet drummer, beats to its own inner metronome, not perfectly, but beautifully imperfect. A living measure of chaos and order intertwined. Your breath that counts its own gentle seconds, marking time not by clocks, but by calm. Your eyes, your mind, your very being translate the universe's movement into feeling. That is the miracle of perception, the way existence turns mathematics into music, and music into memory. Time, for all its complexity, is also simple. It is the sensation of something changing and the awareness of that change. Without awareness, there is no time. Without time, Perhaps there is no us. And yet, awareness itself resists measurement. When we slip into sleep, the hours vanish. We close our eyes for a moment, and the next moment is morning. In that gap, time dissolves completely. There is no before or after, only rest, only the continuity of being. In a way, the brain performs a small act of cosmic mercy. Each night, it allows us to step outside the arrow, to stop chasing the hands of the clock. When we dream, we taste timelessness, as though our consciousness remembers something older than physics, a truth from before beginnings were invented. The ancients understood time differently too. Long before mathematics and relativity, they read it in the sky. The sun was their heartbeat, the moon their measure, the stars their silent teachers. Each rising and setting carried meaning, each season a gentle turn in the spiral of existence. Time wasn't linear. It was circular, sacred, recurring birth and decay, dawn and dusk, tide and return. Even now, our bodies remember this circularity. The cycles of hunger and rest, the phases of hormones, the pulse of energy through day and night, they all echo an older rhythm, one that existed before calendars, before words, before clocks. The modern world has tried to straighten that circle into a line, to turn rhythm into schedule, to carve infinity into increments. But the body does not forget. It whispers its own reminders. Fatigue at midday, hunger at dusk, a sigh at nightfall. Listen closely, and you'll hear it calling you back to that original tempo, the one you were born knowing. Maybe that's what time really is. Not a ticking, but a heartbeat. Not a measure, but a memory. The pulse of everything that ever was, still beating softly in everything that is. And still, even as we drift through the personal and the cosmic, there remains that lingering question, the one that flickers at the edge of every theory, every experiment, every equation. Does time truly exist? Some say no. They say it's an illusion, a way the human mind organizes change, not a thing that exists on its own. That beneath all appearances, beneath clocks and calendars, the universe is timeless, a frozen pattern of infinite stillness, and we conscious observers are the ones who paint motion onto the stillness frame by frame. Others say yes, because even if time is an illusion, it is an illusion that works. Clocks tick, planets orbit, hearts beat, entropy still unfolds. If everything agrees on the rhythm, doesn't that make the rhythm real enough? Perhaps reality doesn't care whether time exists or not. Perhaps time is simply the story reality tells itself, the rhythm of existence, humming its own name. And if the universe is timeless, then every moment, every kiss, every sigh, every small kindness still exists somewhere forever. Frozen whole, unbroken. The laughter of a child, the warmth of a long ago afternoon, the quiet of this very instant, all suspended in the grand mosaic of being. That's what physicists call the block universe, a cosmos, where the past and future are not gone or waiting, they simply are. Each moment a coordinate, each life a luminous thread woven through eternity and consciousness. Your awareness, your presence is like a beam of light moving through that tapestry, illuminating one moment at a time. You do not move through time. You move within it as light moves within color as breath moves within air. And though you can only see the present, the rest is still there, quiet and complete. Maybe that is why nostalgia feels so tender. Because when you remember, you are not looking backward. You are touching something that still exists, somewhere in the still geometry of the universe. And if that is true, then you have never truly lost a moment. You are simply elsewhere in the pattern. But what if time is not even a pattern? What if it's a kind of language? A way for existence to describe change, to say this became that. A syntax of being. In that sense, time is not something we pass through, but something we speak without realizing it. Each heartbeat is a syllable. Each sunrise a sentence. Each lifetime a story whispered into the dark. And just as language evolves, so does time bending around, experience reshaping itself in the telling. Maybe that's what it means to be alive, to participate in time's conversation, to listen to the pauses, to answer with your breath. Because in the end, we may never know whether time exists, but we know this. We exist in time, and perhaps that is enough. Even if the universe is timeless, you are its measure of change. You are how eternity learns to feel. So let the seconds slow. Let the present widen. You are not late, and you are not early. You are precisely where the universe wants you to be, the very center of now. Somewhere ahead, another horizon is forming, and time, gentle and patient, waits to unfold its next chapter. The dream doesn't end, it only deepens. The dream deepens, and time softens again, becoming less a thought and more a feeling. The deeper we drift, the more it seems that time is not something we study. It is something we live inside like air. It wraps us quietly, invisible, but everywhere. We breathe it in. We exhale it. We are made of it. In every heartbeat, the universe measures itself. In every moment of silence, it listens back. And maybe if you listen too right now, in the stillness of this night, you can feel it, that almost inaudible hum behind everything. The sound of existence unfolding one soft second at a time. The scientists who studied time with equations also felt this hum, even if they didn't call it that. Einstein once said that for those who understand relativity, the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubborn illusion, a beautiful, necessary human illusion. He didn't mean to take comfort away from us. He meant to show that comfort might exist everywhere, in what has been, in what will be, all of it suspended in a single eternal is. Imagine that. Everything you've loved still exists, not as memory, but as part of the structure of the universe. Every smile, every sunset, every gentle night preserved forever in the geometry of being. You can't go back to them, but they haven't gone anywhere either. They are there waiting in the fabric, like stars behind the daylight, still shining, still real. Some physicists call this the block universe, but maybe a kinder name would be the quiet universe. A place where nothing is lost, where time doesn't carry things away, it simply rearranges them, folds them into stillness, tucks them gently into the archive of forever. But this thought brings a strange question. If everything already exists, every heartbeat, every breath, then what does it mean to live? What does change mean if every version of you already exists somewhere in the tapestry. Maybe living is not about moving through time, but about discovering which part of time your awareness is visiting now. Like a traveler wandering through a vast museum of light, pausing here, then there, seeing one gallery, then another. Every painting exists already, but your attention gives it life. Awareness is what animates the static universe. Consciousness as what turns stillness into music. We are the melody that moves across the score. Without us, time would still exist, but it would never be felt. And that may be the true miracle of being alive. We give time its heartbeat. All through history, humans have tried to hold this mystery in their hands, with sand, with shadows, with machinery. But time always slips through. It is not meant to be trapped. It only wants to be noticed. Ancient people built calendars from the sky. They traced the path of stars, the tilt of seasons, the pulse of the moon. To them, time was alive, something to honor, to follow, not to conquer. They built their lives around its rhythm, just as the earth spins around the sun. Later, our species learned to measure it more precisely, with pendulums swinging with gears, turning with quartz vibrating in perfect clarity. We learned to count the seconds so finely that we began to believe in them completely. Trains ran on time machines, worked in rhythm, and human life began to bend around the mechanical tick. It was order, it was progress. But it was also noise, a steady tapping that drowned out the subtler rhythm underneath. Because no clock, no calendar, no elegant equation can ever measure what time feels like. The feel of a sunrise after a long night, the slow hush of snowfall, the heartbeat of someone sleeping beside you. These are seconds that stretch seconds, that resist the machinery of counting. When you hold the hand of someone you love, time behaves differently. It thickens like honey in warmth. It becomes tangible. And when you lose them, time behaves differently. Again, it thins. It sharpens, it becomes a wind you can't escape. It moves through you. It leaves you quieter. Perhaps this is what physicists mean when they say that time is relative. Not just in the equations, but in the heart. Every soul carries its own speed of seconds, its own gravity of emotion. And just as a black hole bends space-time love, grief memory, they bend the time inside us. We say time heals all wounds. But maybe it's not time that heals. Maybe it's the soft reweaving of attention, the way consciousness slowly, gently threads itself back through the moments ahead, until we remember how to live again. Time and healing share the same rhythm. Neither hurries, neither stops. They move in waves forward, backward, quietly erasing, quietly restoring. And in their patience, they remind us of something larger. That change itself is merciful. Even the stars obey this mercy. They are born, they burn, they fade, and the light they leave behind travels for millions of years. A message written in fire arriving long after the sender has gone. When you look up at the night sky, you are seeing history frozen and glowing. That light is the memory of a moment still crossing the dark, still unfolding its meaning. In this way, the universe remembers. It never loses anything. Every photon is a timestamp. Every echo is a witness. And we, tiny and luminous in our own ways, are part of that remembering. So maybe you don't move through time. Maybe time moves through you the way wind moves through leaves, the way songs move through air. And maybe your purpose is simply to let the seconds flow, to let them pass without resistance, to listen as they whisper the only truth that matters, that everything changes and everything continues. The night is quiet now. The edges of thought are soft. You might notice how the words themselves have begun to slow, how they arrive more like breaths than sentences. That's all right. It's what time does when it feels safe. It relaxes. It lets itself be felt, not studied. And somewhere beyond these words, the story of time still unfolds. From galaxies spinning in silence to the rhythm of your pulse, to the tiny second right now, glowing softly between the one that just left and the one still on its way. The silence widens and we follow. The silence widens and we follow. Time is no longer something to understand. It is something to listen to. It hums beneath everything, the sky, the sea, your breath. It is the long note that never stops, even as melodies rise and fall around it. And maybe that hum is what we truly call existence. Not the ticking of seconds, but the quiet continuity between moments. The thread that never breaks, only changes color. If you sit still enough, you can feel it inside you now. The way your chest rises without command, the way your pulse answers quietly from below. These are not things you do. They are things that happen through you as time moves softly within. Every living being carries this pulse. From the tiniest cell to the grandest galaxy, all of existence keeps time with the same invisible rhythm. The rotation of planets, the bloom of flowers, the growth of coral, the turning of seasons, each is a heartbeat. Each is a syllable in the same cosmic sentence. Time is not separate from life. It is life expressed through motion, through birth and decay, through repetition and renewal. Even the rocks, those patient witnesses of millennia, hold time in their layers. Each ring, each fold a memory of fire and flood and quiet. To the earth, time is not measured by minutes, but by the slow drift of continents, the rise of mountains, the erosion of wind over stone. Its clock ticks in epochs, and yet it moves with the same grace as your breath, a rhythm of change too vast for urgency. Perhaps that is why stillness comforts us. Because when we rest, we fall into harmony with the world's larger tempo, the slow, ancient rhythm that underlies all things. We stop racing through time and allow time to flow through us instead. If you close your eyes now, you might imagine this rhythm, not as a beat, but as a tide, a pulse that rises with creation and falls with return. Each moment, a small wave on the ocean of being, and somewhere the waves are meeting the smallest particles of the quantum world and the grandest clusters of galaxies, moving in a dance too intricate for language. From uncertainty to gravity, from atom to orbit, the universe keeps its balance. Each fluctuation, each collision, each collapse into order or chaos is part of that single rhythm. Entropy still hums beneath it, all the slow drift toward disorder, the universal tendency to spread and soften. And yet, within that spreading beauty, blooms. Out of chaos, structure arises. Out of expansion, harmony is born. It is not destruction, it is distribution. The way music fades into silence, and silence becomes the stage for a new song. Even death, in this sense, is not the end of time, but its continuation in another form. Matter changes hands, energy changes tone, memory folds into new shapes. Nothing is lost. Everything reappears as something else. Stars become dust. Dust becomes stars again. And within that loop, time finds its truest rhythm, the rhythm of return. Maybe that is why the human heart beats the way it does not in lines, but in circles. Each pulse a reminder that even as things end, they begin again. Each breath an echo of the universe exhaling itself. You are made of that same cycle, a constellation of beginnings and endings folded neatly into a single body. And when you sleep, you return to the source. Your mind quiets, your body follows the tide inward, and for a while, you float in that vast stillness where time no longer speaks in seconds. It speaks in rhythm. It whispers, "You are part of this. You always have been." From that silence, all things begin again. Every dawn, the same light that touched the first horizon touches you. Every morning, you are made new, not by miracle, but by rhythm. By time doing what it always does, turning, turning, turning. When you step outside and feel the cool breath of morning, you are feeling time in motion, the rotation of a planet, the tilt of its axis, the gentle friction of sunlight meeting air. It feels ordinary, but it is ancient. It is physics and poetry intertwined. And this is what Sleepy Facts has always been about. Not just learning facts, but feeling their gentleness. To know that behind every law of nature there is calm. Behind every mystery there is patience. Behind every equation there is beauty. Knowledge does not need to startle. It can soothe. It can breathe with you. It can remind you that to understand something is also to be part of it. And you, right now, are part of time's great experiment, a moment of awareness in the ocean of forever. You are not outside it. You are not watching it. You are it. So when you worry about running out of time, pause. Listen to your breath. You are time continuing itself. You are its proof that it works its way of saying, "I am still here." The seconds keep flowing, not away from you, but through you. Every one of them gentle, every one of them necessary. The night continues its slow rotation. The stars hold their positions with infinite grace. And somewhere in all that stillness, you small breathing radiant are exactly where you belong. And so, the night drifts onward, and time, faithful as ever, carries us softly toward the edge of dreaming. And so, the night drifts onward. We find ourselves deeper still beneath the surface of thought, where time no longer feels like something to chase, but like something ancient and alive, a companion that walks beside us, not ahead. Here, the air is slow and silver. Moments expand like breath inside the lungs of the universe. The sound of time is almost imperceptible. A hush, a pulse, a heartbeat. stars. If we could look at time from far away, we might see it as a vast ocean of shimmering patterns, each wave a life, each ripple a memory. Every moment that ever was still moving, gently beneath the surface, touching, colliding, flowing into the next. Nothing ever truly ends in this ocean. It only changes depth. And you, quiet traveler, float between layers, sometimes near the light, sometimes deep in the shadow, but always within the same endless sea. The ancients felt this too. For them, time was a cycle, a spiral turning through seasons, life rising from decay, decay feeding life again. They saw eternity not as distance, but as pattern. The moon waxed and waned. The tide came and went. The harvest died and was reborn. And in that gentle repetition, they found peace. We who live by digital clocks and deadlines sometimes forget this ancient rhythm. We think of time as a ladder to climb each rung, another achievement, another day conquered. But time does not climb. It circles, it breathes, it hums like a wheel turning softly in the dark. When you breathe, you are participating in that wheel. Each inhale is a birth, each exhale a return. In the smallest acts, the blink of an eye, the fall of a leaf, the sigh before sleep, the whole universe is keeping time. Even in stillness there is motion. Even in silence there is rhythm. That is the paradox of being alive. You can never step outside of time, and yet you can feel its pauses, the tiny sanctuaries between beats. That is where peace lives, in the spaces between seconds. So take a moment now. Notice your breath again. Notice how the body sways even slightly in harmony with the invisible tide of the cosmos. You are not late. You are not early. You are perfectly synchronized. The stars above you, the atoms within you, the quiet orbit of the moon, all are moving together. All are sharing the same rhythm. All are singing the same song. And maybe that song is not about movement at all, but about awareness. Because what is time, if not the awareness of change? Without you to notice it, there is no before or after. There is only being, pure, radiant unfolding. You have always existed in this now. Even when you were younger, you were here. Even when you grow older, you will still be here. Because here, this present is the only place time ever truly happens. Everything else is memory or imagination. Two forms of dreaming that use the same colors. What was, what might be painted upon the canvas of what is. Memory is time moving backward through feeling. Hope is time moving forward through desire. But both are just ripples on the same surface. The water itself, that calm depth beneath, never moves at all. Perhaps this is what mystics meant when they spoke of timelessness, not the absence of time, but its perfection. Not stillness as an ending, but as total presence. The kind of stillness where everything is happening everywhere, all at once, and yet nothing feels rushed. You may have touched this feeling before, in moments of awe, when the world felt suspended, a sunrise that took your breath away, a song that held you so completely you forgot the room you were in. That was time becoming transparent, allowing eternity to peek through. The truth is, you have never been separate from eternity. You are made of it, woven from its quiet mathematics, its patient chemistry, its shimmering geometry of being. And eternity itself is not endless time. It is the absence of hurry. It is every moment at once, like the sky holding all the stars without needing to choose one. Right now, somewhere in the distance, a star is collapsing into silence. Elsewhere, a new one is being born. Both events are the same breath, one inhalation, one exhalation in the lungs of the cosmos. And you listening here, breathing here, are part of that same breath. Your life, too, is a pulse in the great respiration of the universe, a beat of awareness, a flicker of light, a moment that will never be repeated, yet will never truly fade. We often think of time as a thief, something that takes. But maybe time is a gardener. Maybe it doesn't steal, it cultivates. It prunes what no longer serves and gives room for what might bloom next. Each ending makes space for a new beginning. Each silence makes room for another song. And if you can see that, if you can trust that, then time stops being something to fear. It becomes something to walk with, something to learn from, something to love. So rest easy now, knowing that even as you drift, you are being carried. Time does not rush you. It accompanies you. It keeps you safe, held in its slow, endless breath. The hours unfold softly like petals opening in darkness. The world turns quietly beneath your dreams, and somewhere ahead, another dawn waits already, glowing, already written into the shape of forever. We keep floating further into the quiet. We keep floating further into the quiet. The air feels lighter now, as if time itself has exhaled. The night is still but alive, a slow current of warmth, a pulse beneath the silence. Somewhere beyond even the stars, the universe is still expanding, still stretching its fabric outward in an infinite, unhurried bloom. And maybe that expansion, that soft unfolding, is the truest image of time we have. Not a ticking clock, not an arrow shooting forward, but a breath so vast it contains everything. When we think of the universe expanding, we imagine galaxies drifting apart. But that distance is not emptiness. It's creation itself continuing. Every moment, every particle, every photon of light is part of this gentle motion. You are too. Your thoughts, your memories, your slow breath in the dark, all of it is the universe stretching. Time is the motion of creation remembering itself. It is how existence keeps unfolding, how being becomes becoming. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, the atoms in your body are quietly dancing the stars above. You are still drifting, and the space between all things is growing wider, softer, more patient. If the cosmos has a pulse, this is it. A vast inhalation that began with the first flicker of light. From that single brilliant instant, the moment we call the Big Bang, came everything space matter energy and the mysterious current we call time. At first, the universe was young and hot, a blur of light and potential. Then it cooled, and structure began to take form: atoms, stars, galaxies, and eventually us. And through all of it, time was the silent rhythm that allowed things to change, to organize, to become aware of their own becoming. Without time, there would be no change, no motion, no music, no memory. Everything would exist at once, a frozen painting of perfection, beautiful but lifeless. Time gives us imperfection, and with it, growth. It gives us endings, and with them, meaning. That's the quiet secret of time. It doesn't take, it teaches. It lets things arise and fade so that others can emerge. It reminds us that transience is not loss, it's transformation. Every sunrise is a rehearsal for beginning. Every sunset is a gentle lesson in release. Every heartbeat is an echo of that first cosmic vibration. Even in stillness, you are part of the movement, a small reflection of the universe's rhythm, beating softly in the dark. And perhaps deep down, that's why we measure time at all. Not because we fear its passing, but because we long to touch its pattern. We want to understand the rhythm that beats beneath all things, from sundials and sand glasses to pendulums and atomic clocks. We have tried again and again to hold something that cannot be held, the uncatchable pulse of the infinite. And yet every attempt is a kind of poetry. A clock is a confession, a way of saying, I want to know how to belong to this rhythm. A calendar is a prayer, I want to remember what changes so I can remember that I change too. It's easy to think time is cold, a law, a measurement, a distance. But time is also tenderness. It is the way the universe offers you a moment to notice beauty before it shifts. It is the pause between heartbeats where love and loss coexist in perfect balance. It is the soft erosion that turns stone to sand mountain, to memory chaos to form. When we talk about the passage of time, what we are really talking about is the passage of awareness, the slow unfolding of consciousness within the larger consciousness of the cosmos. We are time perceiving itself, moment by moment, breath by breath. Maybe that is why our hearts ache sometimes when we think about the past. Because somewhere on another page of the universe, that moment is still happening. The laughter still echoes, the light still shines. And you who remember it are touching it again, just from a different angle of eternity. You cannot go back, but you can feel back. You can let memory remind you that time doesn't destroy, it preserves. It keeps everything safe in the infinite folds of being. And perhaps you have noticed, the more we speak of time, the quieter it becomes. It has lost its edges here, its measurements, its urgency. It is not a ruler, it is a river. And rivers are not meant to be counted, only followed. So follow it now. Let it carry you softly. Let it erase the weight of the hours. Let it remind you that you are still here and that being here is enough. Somewhere beyond the stars, time continues to unfold like a flower, opening forever. And here within you, the same unfolding happens in miniature, each thought, each breath a petal turning gently toward the light. You are made of that same time. And when you rest, it rests with you. When you sleep, the universe closes its eyes through yours. And when you dream, you are time remembering itself softly, endlessly, lovingly. And so we drift, not to an ending, but into the endless continuity of being, where time and dream and silence are all the same thing, and all that's left is the quiet rhythm of existence itself. The silence widens and we follow. The silence widens and we follow. All around the universe breathes in slow unison. Stars shimmer like quiet thoughts. Galaxies drift like sleeping whales through dark seas. And you, gentle listener, are floating among them, a thought inside a greater mind, a flicker in the long dream of time. Here, there are no clocks, no hours to measure, no past to regret, no future to chase. There is only now the living luminous, now expanding quietly in all directions. If time were a thread, this moment would be its knot where all the strands meet past and future touching hands in silence. Everything that ever was, everything that will ever be, is folded into this breath. You might think of how physicists once tried to describe this, the way relativity and quantum law both gesture toward a timeless truth. How beneath the math and motion reality may not flow at all, it simply is. A still shimmering pattern where change is only perspective, and perspective is all that gives it motion. In that sense, you are not moving through time. You are moving through awareness. Your consciousness is the traveler turning pages in a book where every chapter already exists. You are the one who reads. You are the one who feels. And the book itself, this grand infinite volume called existence, is never finished. It is being written and read simultaneously by everything that is alive. By you, by the sea, by the stars. The laws of physics are its grammar. Memory is its ink. And love, quiet, patient love, is the pulse that keeps its story alive. Because love, too, is a kind of time. It stretches, it bends, it makes seconds feel like lifetimes, and lifetimes like single moments. When you love, you step outside of measurement. You enter that strange, timeless place where nothing is counted, only felt. And maybe that's why love lingers, why even after people leave their presence, remains like an echo, soft but certain. Love is time refusing to end. It is the universe remembering itself through kindness, through care, through the gentle gravity between souls. Even after the heartbeat stops, the rhythm continues in others in the world, in the silent expansion of the cosmos. Nothing truly vanishes, it only transforms. Each moment of love adds another ripple to the great ocean of existence. That is what endures. So when you think of time passing, don't imagine it flowing away from you. Imagine it blooming through you. Every second that touches you is absorbed into who you are, woven into the quiet fabric of being. You carry whole galaxies of moments inside you. Every laugh, every loss, every glance toward a sunrise, they are still here. They always will be. The physicist Julian Barber once said that perhaps time doesn't exist at all, only nows like pearls strung on a thread. each now a complete, perfect world that only seems to move because consciousness slides from one to the next. Maybe that's true. And if so, this one right here, is your entire universe. So be gentle with it. Breathe into it. Feel how full it already is. How nothing needs to be added. How it holds everything, the memory of what's gone, the possibility of what's next, and the peace of simply being. If you could step outside yourself and really look, you'd see that your life is a constellation of nows, each one glowing softly, connected by threads of meaning. Every choice, every dream, every kindness is a star in that sky, and together they form the shape of your soul. That is what time creates, not minutes, but meaning, not distance, but design. A pattern so beautiful, so vast, that even eternity pauses to admire it. So rest here in the middle of this great pattern. Let the edges blur. Let the thoughts drift away. Let the noise of the day dissolve into the hum beneath it all. You are not falling asleep. You are falling inward, back into the deep rhythm that holds everything together. Somewhere far away, a clock is still ticking. But here in this stillness, you can feel what exists beneath that ticking, the eternal pulse that never began and will never end. Time is not outside you. It is your reflection, your song, your shadow, and your light. And even when the mind quiets and the body grows still, that song continues. It plays softly, endlessly, like a lullaby written by the universe itself. So breathe once more, slowly, deeply. You are here. You are enough. And this moment, this quiet, infinite, radiant moment, is all of time unfolding gently within you. The dream doesn't end. It only softens, melting into silence, where thought becomes light and time becomes peace.